Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about iiSU, the emulation front end that's been gaining quite a bit of attention. We talked about iiSU a while back with the initial conception of it, and a lot of people really like the visuals of it and the overall idea of it. And then we talked about it in a couple videos ago when it was revealed in much more detail. And a lot of people seem to be extremely excited about this one. iiSU seems to be aiming to be a front end, but so much more. However, very recently, a lot of people are saying iiSU is dead. So for those who may be unaware, the main person behind this project has stepped down. And this is, I don't want to say surprising, but there was a lot of stuff that came out of the woodwork when this project went live. There is quite a bit of information out there about this project and some of the people behind it. And if you are interested and wanted to learn more about it, like everything we talk about, links will be within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. Reddit emulation on Android here has a real big mega thread with a ton of detail. So here's some of the TLDR. Guy has ambitious app idea and asks for money to fund it. Community supports it with some skepticism due to being closed source and no real product prototype to show for it. Guy repurposes old friends' private Discord where dumb things were said in the past 2 years as official community Discord. And this was the big source of all of the controversy. So with that being said, the main person behind this one who ideated all of this stuff is stepping away from the project. However, the project does appear to be continuing on. So with that being said, with the main person behind iiSU stepping away, a lot of people think that iiSU is dead, and that may not necessarily be the case here. However, iiSU may change from its initial conception. So taking a look here up on Patreon, Sapphire, who is taking over this project, they're not inexperienced. They say here from their side what they promise is a launcher with as many features as they can possibly deliver. They will keep pushing it forward. But for now, nothing social will be added until we see what is going to happen next with the team and the overall direction. And that will dictate what happens with iiSU. Is it just going to be a front end? Is it going to be that whole ecosystem like initially intended? We don't know yet. They do say, though, and this is interesting, a public alpha will be released around 10 p.m. Mexico time. So the TLDR here on this entire segment, where TLDR stands for subscribe to Mr. Sujano, as to whether or not iiSU is alive or dead. The answer is kind of to both counts. I would say it's kind of dead because the initial conception of this, the initial idea, I don't think is ever going to materialize. It was very ambitious. And without the drive of the main person behind it, I don't know if it'll shape up exactly the way it was meant to. However, I would say it's kind of still alive because Sapphire seems to be trying to push it forward. Next up here, we're talking about a really interesting article up on CNBC, and this one is titled, "Americans are holding on to devices longer than ever, and it's costing the economy." And it's talking about device hoarding. I recommend checking out this article or hot take for more information on the matter. Listen to these key points. Americans are hanging on to their smartphones for much longer than they did a decade ago, but new releases like Apple's iPhone 17 can entice consumers to upgrade. Businesses tend to hang on to their devices even longer than individual consumers, especially overseas. And while it may seem to be a smart money move, it can result in a costly productivity and innovation lag for the economy. Now, I don't know about you, but I find this stuff super interesting because it's kind of stating the obvious here. And I think they changed the title. I think the original title was, well, you can see it in the address bar there, How Device Hoarding by Americans is Costing the Economy. People aren't going to buy new stuff if they don't have to, and a lot of people love the idea of something that is built to last. Now, I'm going to stop myself here before I go on a tangent because it's not going to serve any purpose other than to get me all riled up for something that ultimately, whatever. Water is wet. Companies want people to spend money. Anyways, the PCSX2 team also took exception to this article, and listen to this Mastodon post. I almost said Mastodon tweet, which doesn't make any sense. Anyways, they say to all you device hoarders out there who think you can run around destroying the economy through basic common sense, we've got some tough words for you. We're going to keep happily working to make sure your device runs PCSX2 as smoothly as possible. Use the technology that suits your needs and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And thanks for being part of our community. And speaking about devices, next up we're talking about Windows emulation on Android with GameHub Lite. And GameHub Lite, for those who are unaware, it's an unofficial fork of GameHub. It's got a whole bunch of telemetry and a bunch of other stuff stripped out and can be used offline without an account. Anyways here, GameHub Lite just got a brand new pre-release. So at the time of filming, GameHub Lite version 5.3.3 pre-release is the latest and greatest update. It's worth noting that this is a pre-release and not a stable build, that there may be bugs and issues with it. And they say this is an experimental build of GameHub based on GameHub version 5.3.3. There is no support for this build. This is meant for those who are helping or want to tinker. And speaking about emulation and devices, next up here we're talking about PlayStation 3 emulation with PCSX2. And if you're interested in the technical side of things and you like learning about things, I'd assume you would based on the fact that you're watching this video. Anyways, What a Cookie has a really interesting video I would recommend checking out. It's brand new and it's titled Why Intel and AMD Couldn't Play Little Big Planet Together. And it's about PCSX2. The video itself is not very long at all. It's 8 minutes and 39 seconds, and I would say it gives a nice insight into some of the challenges developers face on a normal basis. So What a Cookie says, another video documenting discoveries made during PCSX2's development for you guys. The video covers floating point inaccuracies between Intel and AMD, explains how it was made accurate, and then explains how we optimized that accurate code. And speaking about software and developers, next up here we're talking about itch.io. If you're a fan of itch.io, you're going to like this news. If you're not a fan of itch.io, you're going to like this news. And if you don't know what it is at a super high level, I think this is a fantastic website to see a lot of indie games and indie software and just a lot of different software from a lot of independent developers and a lot of cool stuff. Oftentimes priced very reasonably, and oftentimes there's free stuff on here. Anyways, if you're thinking about picking up absolutely anything, today is the day. Itch.io is having their Creator Day, where they say, we're not taking our cut of all sales today. Now, I don't know about you, but I think this is a great way to support the developers. I mean, they say they're waiving Itch.io's platform fee on all transactions across the site. All transactions across the site, not just for specific software. This is a pretty cool thing, and I'm glad that itch.io is doing this. And speaking about fees, next up we're talking about reduced fees for Launchbox. For those who are unaware, every year Launchbox does go on sale, and every year it's a very good discount. If you're in the market for a brand new front end and have Launchbox on your radar, today is the day to pick it up. So for Launchbox on PC, regular licenses have been slashed down to $15. The lifetime license is $45. And if we take a look at Android here, the regular fee is slashed down to $7.50, with the lifetime fee at $25. Next up, we're shifting from cheap to free and talking about Grand Theft Auto 4. And if you're a fan of GTA 4 and modding, you're going to like this news here. Listen to this. You can now officially download the new path tracing mod for Grand Theft Auto 4 for free. Every part of the game is all path traced and tries to stick to the original look and feel. And it is up on GitHub. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.